Diesmal geht es um das Thema Yoga Business Ideen mit Weitblick. Es gibt einen ganz, ganz wichtigen Punkt, den viele übersehen. Und zwar, um Yoga zu unterrichten, musst du nicht in einem Yogastudio oder in einem Turnsaal oder im Park Yoga unterrichten. Es gibt unendlich viele Möglichkeiten, deine wertvollen Fähigkeiten als Yogalehrerin im Berufsleben einzusetzen. Und dabei ist es egal, ob du es wirklich Yoga nennst oder ob dein Yoga wirklich auf Yogamatten stattfindet oder nicht. Und um dir das zu veranschaulichen, habe ich heute eine ganz besondere Gesprächspartnerin eingeladen, die nämlich genau das gemacht hat. Orsi ist Yogalehrerin aus Ungarn und sie hat ein eigenes NGO-Projekt Move to Be You ins Leben gerufen. NGO, das steht für Non Governmental Organisation und das wird in Österreich und Deutschland oft einfach nur als Gemeinnütziger Verein bezeichnet. Aber das ist noch nicht das Besondere an dieser Idee. Nämlich das Geniale ist, dass Move to Be You eine NGO ist, die spezialisiert darauf ist, mit der EU zusammenzuarbeiten. Und zwar gibt es da im Speziellen das EU-Projekt Erasmus+. Und das ist keine Studentenaustauschbörse. Erasmus+ ist ein Projekt der EU mit einem Fördertopf von über 26 Millionen Euro für Kooperationen zum Thema Bewegung, Sport, Integration, Bildung und vieles mehr. Wie Orsi das jetzt genau geschafft hat, mit diesem Projekt mit der EU zusammenzuarbeiten, das erfährst du im Interview heute. Wenn du Yogalehrerin bist oder gerne eine werden möchtest, dann solltest du unbedingt zu meiner nächsten Yoga-Business-Webinarreihe kommen. Das Yoga-Business Bootcamp findet statt vom 15. bis 17. Mai 2026 live online um 0 Euro inklusive Aufzeichnung. Und dabei lernst du die Grundlagen, die du als Yogalehrerin unbedingt brauchst, um langfristig und nachhaltig erfolgreich zu sein, um deine Mission als Yogalehrerin zu erfüllen und zwar ohne Burnout. Dabei geht es unter anderem um die Frage, wie baust du ein Yoga-Business auf, das wirklich zu dir passt und was fehlt dir noch, um als Yogalehrerin so richtig durchzustarten. Melde dich jetzt gleich an, du findest alle Links dazu in der Beschreibung unten in der Textbox, genauso wie alle Links zu Move to Be You. Jetzt wünsche ich dir ganz viel Spaß mit dem Interview mit Orsi über ihr NGO-Projekt Move to Be You. Willkommen zum Flylight Yoga Podcast für Yoginis, Yogalehrende und alle, die es werden wollen. Ich bin Lisa und bilde seit über 12 Jahren neue YogalehrerInnen aus. Hier bei mir im Podcast erfährst du alles Wissenswerte rund um das Thema Yoga praktizieren und unterrichten. Es geht um verschiedene Yoga-Stile, Philosophie, Asanas, Anatomie, Didaktik, Klassenplanung, Yoga-Business und mehr. Yoga ist Einheit in Vielfalt. Deswegen habe ich die Yoga-Ausbildung Multistyle entwickelt und unterrichte sie in Wien und online. Alle Infos dazu findest du auf flylightyoga.net. A big warm welcome, hello to this new podcast episode. I'm super happy today. I have a very good friend of mine, and today I have Orsi here from a very special organization. The organization is called Moved to Be You, and I'm super interested in talking to Orsi today about her association. And I would like to hand over the first question to you already, Orsi. Welcome. Could you introduce yourself? Who are you? Where are you from? And what part does yoga play in your work and in your life?
Hi, thank you, Lisa, for inviting me for this podcast. So yes, I'm Orsi. I'm originally Hungarian. We met in Vienna, where I have founded the organization Move to Be You, which is an NGO. And how is yoga playing a role in my life? I met yoga when I was still teenager in Hungary, and my mother dragged me for some classes where there was only old people. So I was like, it's maybe not for me, but I like stretching and I enjoy. And then my life path brought me to Asia, where I was living and working for 7 years. And in between these works, I had a time when I was working in Nepal, in Kathmandu. There was a yoga studio directly in the city center in Tamil, where my office was. And one of my friends from climbing, she did a yoga teacher's training course with them. So it was not like a residential when you go and eat and sleep there. So I was going every afternoon and morning from the office. And like this, I did the 200 hours one with really amazing Nepali teachers. And since then, it didn't only stay in my mind, but it's really part of my body and my nutrition and my being in general. And now it's also part of my work.
This is so interesting because, as you said, we met in the year 2018 in Vienna, and we met through acro yoga. I remember
Yeah.
we were both practicing acro yoga, and there was a really vivid community in Vienna there, and still at the moment. And I just realized that that was the exact year when you found your association, Move
That's
to Be
right.
You. So interesting. I remember once we even talked about it because I didn't know at the time what an NGO was. And then I found out that it's a really interesting way how to organize your association as this non-governmental organization.
Yeah.
I found it so interesting. I first thought it's only like non-profit, but I think it's more than just non-profit. How would you describe an NGO?
Yes, so actually in Austria they are called Verein. So it really depends on which country you belong to and which kind of rules they have. In English we call it non-governmental organization. In Austria it can be non-profit, but it can be different categories in the case of Austria. What it means, it's we are working with social field. So anyone who is in the social sector doing something for the community, for the benefit of the society or the people in general. So I think that those are the ones that they are called NGOs. So they work not for profit. So they're supposed to if they gain some income, then they are using it for the community and for the growth and for reaching out to different kind of groups of people.
Exactly. I think it's all about reinvesting and to making the NGO bigger in the sense of like improving the mission and reaching more people to reach the mission. And
Yes.
your association, I like the name so much. Moved to be you. It says already so much. Do you know how you came up with the name and what does the name mean for you?
Yes, so actually it's moved to EU-Bewegung für Wohlbefinden because in Austria we even had to add this extra name because it's not enough just to have like one, so you have to have like a description. So the sub name is Movement for Well-being. So I was consulting with some of my American friends because I wanted to say move to be yourself, and then they told me that this is not correct in English grammatically. So somehow we came up with the move to be you, but luckily people, even if they are not native speaker, they understand what it means, that it's a certain kind of movement which you are doing for yourself, so for your own self development.
Yeah, so nice. And actually, it's almost the same like what the mission of yoga is, like move to be you, like what we do in modern yoga, the hatha yoga, where we use movement to kind of
Yeah.
find back to our true self. So was super inspiring for me to hear this, and I was not surprised that you, as an acro yogian, exactly ended up in this field. And the projects that you do, it's super interesting. I find it so interesting because the projects that you do, most of them are international, right? They're not like happening in just
Hmm.
one country. It's very
Yes.
often a cooperation of different partners, as you told me. And you have also a very interesting structure that you get fundings from the European Union, from one specific program, if I'm correct. Could you explain a
Hmm.
little bit more about this?
Yes. So our organization specifically is working with the EU funded projects, EU co-funded projects, as they call it currently. This program is called Erasmus Plus. What is very important about Erasmus, that this is not the Erasmus for the university students, it's not an exchange between the students. This is a program that is open for every age group, depending on what is the project about or what is the topic. It can be accessible for a variety, from the young people to the middle age to professionals to adults until seniors. This is a funding program that the EU is actually more than 30 years old now, this program, and the EU puts aside taxpayers' money to fund international learning opportunities for people, and this is part of their approach to create collaboration, peace, understanding, and better inclusion for the countries within the European Union. But the good thing is that Europe has a wider vision, so they don't limit only for European Union countries, but there are also specific partner countries, as they call it, who can also participate. So, for example, Ukraine or Turkey or Georgia, Azerbaijan, things like, or even the North African countries. So they could also be included in some projects.
So interesting. So it's usually also people from different countries coming together in one project, which is super interesting. I love that approach. And it's so interesting to know that there's programs like this that we can actually use to participate or to use as a business idea. I find this so clever.
No, it's fantastic, and the best is that these are funded. So the people who go, sometimes they have to give a little contribution. Just it's usually is for free, but in our case, for example, we have a small contribution because it's still important that people feel engaged. Because nowadays, if you give something completely free, then they maybe don't appreciate it that much, but it is accessible for everyone. And then even the travel, the accommodation, everything is funded, so it's really amazing. So when you would pay a lot of money maybe for a retreat, for the same you can go to an experience like this, and you will have a huge group of lovely international people from all over Europe that you can learn and exchange with.
So wonderful. And I've been on your website and I really like your website. We're gonna put it also in in the description box. It's movetobu.org, O-R-G. And I found 5 main topics, or I would call them 5 pillars, or it's like 5 themes that describe so well what you are doing. And I would just love to talk to you about these 5 different things. I can mention them maybe just quickly so that we've heard them all once and that we can talk about each of those individually. So they are community, education, movement, inclusion, and awareness. And I find myself so much in all of those 5 topics as a yoga teacher. That's why it spoke to me so much. But I would like to ask you, let's take the first one, the community aspect.
Mm-hmm.
How does that play out in what you do in the projects that you organize?
Yes. So I have a background from outdoor education. When I was working in Asia, I worked as an outdoor instructor and educator in international school projects, which is like that you do different kind of nature-based programs like rock climbing, kayaking, sailing, surfing with an educational purpose. And when I went first time to Asia, for me to find friends, first I was doing the couch surfing, so to meet people, and secondly I went to train, to do sports, any kind of sport, because this is a perfect like sport. If anyone is doing sport, this is a certain community already, because the love of movement, the love of nature, the appreciation of a healthy body is somehow it brings people together. It doesn't matter where you are. It's always easy to go to anywhere to train. It doesn't, whatever kind of sport. So for this the community became a very important part, because after I was working in China in the outdoor instructor position. When I went to Nepal, I went to the climbing gym and I made all my friends there. So I understood that this creates like an unseen layer of connection, that regardless of where you are in the world, this creates a community that you belong to, and this can give you a space like a home anywhere in the world.
I couldn't agree more. You're speaking directly from my heart. And I think this is exactly why we met. This is why we both love the acro yoga community or the yoga
Yes.
community in general. Like you have these like-minded people all in one place, and you're sure to find somebody that you can drink a coffee with and have a great chat, or find a friend for life. This
Yeah.
is also what happened to me in all of my teacher trainings. Like I think I did so many teacher trainings because
Yeah.
I just love the vibe of
Yeah.
staying together with people for 1 week or 1 month and really getting to know them and finding all these interesting personalities. So
Oh,
cool.
and the friendship, because it's incredible. Like it could be that, hey Lisa, I don't know, I go to South Africa. Do you know someone there? Ah, yeah, yeah, I have my acro friend. So I have never needed to meet your friend, but I know that because of the acro, it will be already that I will be welcome. They will be happy to meet up or to do something, and this goes everywhere like this, and this is fantastic. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's why the community.
So wonderful, and especially also for the younger generation that very often is stuck behind a mobile phone or
Yeah,
or a game console, to actually reinforce and re-teach them like how to actually interact in a group of people,
yeah,
away
yeah,
from the solitude of your home. Ah, so interesting. So the second pillar is education,
yeah.
and of course it's interesting because to have this association, like, and to see it as an educational project, not only like a wellness, but also educational. What is your take on this?
Yes, well, we work with educational projects. So the whole Erasmus Plus is about education. So we are different kind of educators from background, but also some are maybe professional who do something in their life that they chose later to share with others. So, for example, our team members, many of them, maybe Vladimir, for example, he is an IT professional, but he's also yoga teacher, acro yoga teacher. He does meditation. He's guiding different kind of processes. So we do everything from the perspective which looks into towards lifelong learning.
Wonderful. You also mentioned a very interesting word, experiential learning. I didn't
Yeah.
know that term. What is experiential learning?
Yes, so experiential learning comes from from outdoor education, where you have the when you do an experience itself. So it's called the Kolb's method. So when you have an experience itself, so let's say we went together to do rock climbing, yeah, or okay, we do acro yoga together, and then when you can do this activity, just that you do the activity itself, you can do modifications in the activity. Okay, now you can use only one leg and one hand, or now you can be only now you have to be blindfolded, or any kind of variation that we like to do. And then later, from this educational perspective, we can talk about, for example, how did it feel for you to have less possibilities than you usually have, like you couldn't see. How is it to be not handicapped, now I forgot the word, you when you don't have.
Restricted in your possibilities? Yeah.
So there are depending on what is the topic that we like to work on, then we can look into with the experience of how you felt, how it was for you, how you can use this knowledge or something in your life, or any things like this. So there is in the experiential learning, there is always a debriefing at the end. So there is always a reflective learning on what happened and what was going on, and what is the purpose of that activity.
And what directly comes up for me in my yoga background and as a yoga teacher is like, it's exactly what we do in yoga as well. Like we practice on the yoga mat.
Yeah.
But then we reflect on like, how do I take what I learned now on the yoga mat into my real life? And how can I
Yeah.
transfer all of the yoga philosophy, for example, like the ahimsa, the non-violence, like in my body, in my mind,
Mhm.
to take it from the practice, like into real life, and to reflect on how can I actually take the learning from this container to where it actually really matters in my relationships. Are so interesting.
Yes.
And such a huge place to start teaching from.
Yeah, exactly. So there is so many. It's like an endless amount of possibilities, and that's the beauty. Because I studied as a teacher in university, but I didn't want to become a primary or a high school teacher where you have to teach based on the book and you have to do every approach in that kind of sense. So I wanted to use the creativity and use approaches which make like more sense, and they are more tailored to life and to what we need in our life.
Absolutely. And it brings us directly also to like the next pillar, which is movement. And you call it specifically movement for self-empowerment, to feel
Yeah.
alive and to develop skills. How
Yes.
does that show up in your project?
So how it works is I work. I'm specifically inspired to do self-development courses. I have a background in neuro-linguistic programming. I'm a coach for that. I do also Silva method and different kind of positive psychology related coaching techniques. And what I discovered on my own journey for my own self was when, let's say, you go to a psychotherapist or you go to someone to talk about something, it's not enough to have a talk, or is not enough to journal, or is not enough. I don't know. There are a lot of different techniques, but what it helps is that you integrate also things into the body, because there are certain layers of our psyche which you cannot enter in a conscious way. So you have to learn also how to concentrate on your body, how to feel into your body, because in Western countries we are not really aware of our body neither. So just to really introduce the self-awareness in the bodily sense is something that is very important, and through movement we can achieve that.
Yeah. Maybe in the modern days, there's a very popular word, they call it somatic
Mhm.
yoga. And maybe this is like describing a lot of that as well, like to really feel into the body and use the body as a tool as we do in yoga.
Yeah,
Not treat it as just something externally that we have to, okay, we have to keep it healthy, we have to eat well, but
yeah,
more something that we can feel into and use it as our intuition and trust it a bit more and really use it properly. So
yeah.
interesting. And again, another amazing parallel to what we do in the yoga. I love that. And then I have the fourth pillar or the fourth topic that is part of your association. It's the inclusion. And this is something that speaks to my heart a lot, the inclusion. You call it enhancement of a socially active and inclusive society. And this is the bigger picture, I guess. How does that work?
So actually, we work a lot with the migrants and immigrants, and social inclusion is really important in Europe, where we have lots of nationalities. If you know, just in Vienna, there are more than 200 different nationalities that they live in the city. But somehow people, even we live together, we don't interact, or okay, I go to the Turkish shop or I go to the Indian restaurant, but there is no, you just exist parallel next to each other, but you don't share. And this is really important, because in our training courses, we always work on topics when people have to open up themselves, and by being 7 to 10 days together, you have to take down your masks, and is by spending the time together and being able to talk about yourself and having the experience together, it creates a cohesion, and it helps also the inclusion of people,
Yeah.
which was really important in the acro yoga, because in acro also you don't need to be fit, or you don't have to be like young, or it doesn't matter if you are like maybe smaller or bigger or chubby. It is for everyone, and therefore it's really important for us to create a place where everybody is welcomed, and that they can interact, so that it helps them to create friendships and to get to know each other's cultures.
Such a wonderful addition. And I think also in the yoga space, like for yoga teachers, to teach inclusively is a skill that many develop further on in their path. I
Yeah,
think once you get out of your teacher training, you're just happy to lead a class and nobody hurts, nobody gets injured. But then as you develop yourself more as a yoga teacher, you realize that you actually want to include everybody in the class,
yeah,
like the young ones, the old ones, especially if you teach
exactly.
open classes, or the different nationalities, the ones that speak good German or the ones that speak more English, like finding ways of speaking to everybody and
Yeah,
tailoring the practice and adapting the practice so everybody can feel included is a really amazing skill.
yes.
And I love it that you chose this as one of your main topics for your whole association and for all the different projects.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So beautiful. And that brings us to the fifth one, to the last one, which is awareness, increasing consciousness and mindfulness in one's own life and environment. How do you transport that? How do you make that happen?
Yeah. So this is exactly what I was telling you before. So it's not only the self-awareness of your own body and your mind and your emotions, but this is also the awareness, because when you can connect to yourself, you are able to see also the others in another way. So you can create a more healthy and more like peaceful and harmonious environment around you. So this is really important, because in the Western countries, or with the consumerist capitalist culture, we build up the egocentric approach to life. Oh, it's me and what I feel and what I think and what I want and everything about me, and doesn't matter the rest. But it's not working like this, because we are all in a dynamic environment, and we are all part of the same universe. And it's not only about the humans, but also the living beings, also the plants, the animals, everything, the air, the water, everything that is around us. So it's super important to become aware that it's not only about me, but everything else, and they are all interconnected.
Yeah, all interconnected. I just wanted to say the same. Like we've seen these little patterns in all of those, but it's also so interesting to actually define them individually. I really love that you did that, because they play together, but
Yeah.
they also have like a specific importance, each one of
Yeah.
them. Yeah, I really love that concept. And you do many different projects. And I just wanted to ask you, do you have like a favorite or a very popular program or project that you did recently that maybe spoke to your heart, or maybe one that was very challenging?
Oh yes, challenges we always have. You know, when you work with the 40 people in a training course from every different countries. Yeah, but last time we had a very funny story. We had a cook coming from Serbia last year. We were about to have a training course in Neunagelberg in Austria, and we had a cook, a vegetarian cook coming from Serbia. And at that time was the time when they were doing the protests against the government. And this cook's mother was very because she was a teacher, so she was very active in the protests. So when he was about to take the plane, they didn't let him to board the plane with some created story, but in any case it was probably related to the protests and the role of his mother. So imagine that we had the first dinner, 40 people waiting, and the cook doesn't come. And we
Horrible.
are like you know, we have to accept we have to wait the people which are arriving, we have to manage the roomings and everything. And then okay, there is no cook coming for tonight, so we have to do something. And of course I cannot get a cook in the last for the first night like this. So we had to start cooking ourselves. And well, it didn't go so perfectly like it would have been by him, but at the end we somehow managed to overcome the first dinner. And then luckily he could take the plane the next day, so the police made him pass. But yeah, it was really really stressful, let's say.
Oh my goodness. But maybe it was a great experience to cook together. Everybody cooked together.
Not everybody, because I mean, 40 people to enter to the kitchen, that would not have been possible. But yeah, luckily some of the participants and our team members, they were ready to step in. So we created a nice international kitchen.
Amazing. And I guess this is what you have to do. Like, it's like if you lead a retreat, sometimes
Yeah,
these things happen. Like, you lead a
yeah,
retreat, you lead a teacher training, there's always these unforeseen things, and you have to improvise and find a solution last
yes,
minute.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
wow.
an ad hoc. Anything can happen.
Amazing. And do you have a favorite project? One that is your favorite topic, or that was like just a very beautiful experience with the people?
Yeah, so the thing is that we work a lot with sports, so we have sports projects, but luckily we have accreditation. It's called in Austria, which means that we can organize 3 training courses each year. This can be also viewed very nicely in our website. And the thing is that every training course that we do is related to my heart and related to our passion, because they are the similar direction. They are all for self-development, movement, well-being. We have fantastic locations, vegetarian food, amazing trainers. So to be honest, I don't like to work on something that I wouldn't do myself, or that I wouldn't feel that the quality is to the standard that I would go at all. So therefore, I love them all. Like really, they are really super nice. And we're gonna have the first one now in May, in 2 weeks, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Nice. What is the topic of the training now in May?
It's called Elemental Power. So we're gonna work on the 5 elements, and our teachers, they are Tai Chi master, and they are different kind of movement teachers, positive psychology, and group dynamics, and a lot of fantastic practices background. So it will be very nice.
So beautiful. I had two titles that really stood out for me. I saw that you're doing digital detox training, which I think
Yes.
is so important. Probably everybody of us needs that, from young to old. I mean, the oldest maybe not so much, the seniors, but for sure the younger
Oh, believe
ones.
me, yes.
Yeah, and all the middle-aged ones. So interesting. And I saw stress to strength, and that really
Mm.
spoke to me as well. For me, it sounded a bit like burnout prevention, or
Yeah.
like coming down. And I guess many of us can relate to that. And I can totally see that you're creating such a big value with all of those trainings. And is this the
Thank you.
only job that you do? Is this your main job at the moment, or do you have other
Yes.
things?
Yes, because I'm also the founder and also the president of the NGO. So for me, this is my full-time job. And then we have, based on the projects, we have lovely people that are working with us. But yeah, for me, it is my full-time, because this has to be led and to deal with all the partners and participants. Imagine that we have more than 120 people just on the training courses each year, and they are coming from all over the place. And this is just the training courses, but we work also with other kind of projects. So in one year, up to 150 people going all over the place is a lot of lot of
That's a
things.
lot. A lot to organize, and almost to me, it looks like you're almost like the owner of a yoga studio. I can like totally compare this
Yeah,
to the owner of a yoga studio. So much to organize. You
yeah.
have to organize the teachers, the venues, the food. You have to organize probably the administration side of all of that. And how much do you still teach yourself? Do you mainly organize, or you also teach?
Yes, so I used to teach in the first 6 years, and now I became more like a consultant to our trainers, because, as you said, you, Lisa, have a very good understanding of how much components are needed for. You have summarized it very well. So because of all the components, I used to do everything, but then it took a toll on my health, because I can get headaches very easily. So after 6 years, that every training course I had a headache at least for 1 or 2 days, like a full migraine. When I'm in the bed, I cannot get up and everything. So I stopped last year to teach in our courses, but I do still sometimes workshops, or when they invite me for some places, or if in festivals, or make some presentations in some other courses. So for example, we have different type of courses which are not trainings, but when we share our methods to partners who like to learn it and to use it in their own organizations, so in those kind of times I can teach there. So that's good.
Yeah, and you're still there, like you're always there when it happens. You're kind of part of the team, you're part of
Yeah.
the venue, you're like in the experience. And I think, we have like seasons in our life. Like me, I used to teach a lot. And now as I
Mm.
organize the teacher trainings, also I teach less. Like I
Yeah.
teach in the teacher training, but I teach much less because it's a lot of organization and my heart is really in the project. So sometimes we
Yeah.
have to like find the balance of how much really teaching and
Exactly.
organizing and making it happen. So
Yeah.
it's like it's a balance we have to find. And I think maybe sometimes it's more and then it will be less again. And it sometimes fits also to the life cycle, life circle that we have are on our own.
Yeah, exactly. Because when it's your own, you are responsible for everything, so you have to make sure that it works. But therefore, I'm very happy if I'm just invited as a teacher somewhere or just invited to present, because then it's perfect. I don't need to organize. I'm not responsible for participants. I'm just here to teach or something, and then it's perfect. Then I can really. I would love to do more of that also, to be honest, because now before my own NGO I cannot do it, but for others it can be possible, and then I can really just enjoy the teaching spirit and so on.
Yes, wonderful. So maybe this could be an invitation to everybody. If
Yeah.
you need a teacher, let us know. And if people want to experience and find you, they can do this on the website. Is that the best place to find out?
Yes, on the website you can see all of our social media also, so you can see what we do, or there is the email address and everything, so that it's very easy. We have also a community chat group in the WhatsApp and Signal, which is for the Viennese community, but we have also one for the alumni group of those participants who have been with us before, because then we keep posting about our upcoming opportunities and learnings, so that the people have the possibility to apply and go to those kind of places. So we run these too, so because sometimes now on the social media, there are too many threads, so you cannot see anymore out of the hundreds that you follow. So because of this, we made also this chat group, so that we just post but without spamming.
Perfect. We will link everything in the description box, the movetobu.org. And so thank you so much, Orsi, to come into this interview. It was such a pleasure to reconnect with you and to hear about all the wonderful things that you do. And I hope I will see you very soon back in Vienna one day.
Yes, thank you, Lisa, so much, and it was really lovely to speak to you. And yeah, let's see. We could do something maybe together in Vienna for the community. That would be
Mm,
really really cool.
absolutely. Thank you so much. Speak to you soon. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.
Juhu, du hast es geschafft bis zum Ende der Podcast-Folge. Wenn sie dir gefallen hat, dann lass mir doch bitte eine 5-Sterne-Bewertung hier, damit auch andere diesen Podcast finden können. Wenn du noch Fragen hast, dann schreib mir jederzeit gerne an lisa@flylightyoga.net. Ich freue mich immer von dir zu hören. Alles Liebe und bis bald.